Sorry, everyone, for the delay. Tonight is March 15th. Welcome to the Community Preservation Committee meeting. We are in hybrid, as you can see. We'll introduce ourselves. Chris Pratt. John, you can go next since you're also hybrid.
John Wally.
Okay, can go around the table.
Dave Spina. Brian Walker.
Sabrina Pooler.
Beth Thomas.
Jamie Reed.
Dave McWilliams.
Okay. So tonight we are going to ask if anybody has any public comment.
We're in.
Excellent. That makes it, that'll go quick then. Everybody just agreed tonight. Okay, for new business, we have Wally Spray Park amendments to the project. Anybody presenting? Is that you, John, or? Yep.
I guess so. Cindy's not there, I take it.
She's not here.
So we
Well,
did,
she's proposing that we, Rob Levesque has stated he's not going to charge us for anything except if we need a whole septic system. He's going to charge us to design that, but other than that, he's going to do it all for nothing. And Cindy's suggestion was to add 25,000 for whatever might come up. And then we'll just give it back if we don't use it,
Right.
which I don't think we will, but it depends on what the DEP tells us we have to have for an infiltration system.
So do we have a total amount, John, or do we just want to make the amendment to bump it up?
Just to bump it up 25,000. I don't remember what the actual amount was.
Okay,
294.
let me just double check that. So the original is 269.
okay, and they're looking to bump that up 25,000.
That was her suggestion. We can do whatever we want.
For incidentals, right?
Well, there's already a fudge factor in there, I believe, of what was it, 30,000? I don't have it in front of me, but
Me either.
They did mention that when they were in, you guys, with Dave Sutton, that there was money built into it for contingencies, yes.
yeah,
So
they
I
want to
think
bump that up 25,000 because we have no idea what the state is going to require.
Yeah,
It might not cost us anything. We might be able to put it in to one of our current drainage systems. Might have to build our own infiltration system, and we may even have to have a septic system. That would be the most expensive.
Right, so there are some mitigating factors for the request. It sounds like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's, we're at the mercy of DEP, what they want to do with the water.
right,
Is that
Okay.
60?
And Rob has been chasing them, but he still doesn't have an answer.
okay. I'll take a motion if anybody feels ready, or,
Sure, I'll second it.
okay, so I'll make it,
Sorry. Brian made the motion.
right, as we say.
I'll second the motion. Sorry. Didn't cut you off.
No.
Okay. And we have a first and a second. We'll go around the table. Chris Pratt, aye.
I'm Wally, aye.
Dave Spina, aye. Brian Walker, aye.
Beth Thomas, aye.
Jeannie Reed, aye.
Dave McWilliams, aye.
All right, motion is passed.
So that was to add the 25,000 to 294.
Correct. We just add that back onto, it'll be through
Open
Park and Rec,
space.
open space, right? Open space and recreation.
Okey-dokey.
Okay, And next on our agenda, we have a project application withdrawal. As Southwick Congregational Church has withdrawn their application due to received funding or pending funding from a generous donor. So,
That's great.
Yeah.
I actually would have liked to have seen it go through, though. I would have loved to have seen how the town voted on that.
would have been interesting.
Yeah, I really would have liked to have seen that, but it's money we can use elsewhere.
That's right. Okay. Also, we're going to discuss some pros and cons about projects that have been approved for town meeting. Usually the Finance Committee does pros and cons for all of the warrant articles. However, they don't really have oversight over community preservation funding. So, I think it might be appropriate that we, tell why we think this project is appropriate for the town, since we voted to approve it, bringing it to town meeting. So I don't know if anybody would be willing to help out with those words to put in our approvals.
I know I jotted down a few comments, not enough, but
Yeah, we could all contribute. It's, we're not really voting on things. We're just commenting on things we've already approved. So
should we submit them to Sabrina?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We could, Sabrina could send us back out the projects that were approved so that we could mull them over again, look back through our meetings and maybe give her some comments or reasons why we voted to approve.
Would you want to just verbally go over them really quick and maybe we can get rid of a few of them right now?
Yeah, jot down some notes.
So,
Well,
so I have a question.
sure.
Who presents that?
It's just usually a pen or a paper that sits on the table when you come in to vote. It's not, nobody's gonna stand up and present anything. There are, and people, some maybe not even take it, who knows, but those things are usually left out for people to consider as they, decide on which way they want to vote.
That's true, but we've had applicants in the past get up and advocate for themselves too, so.
And I know that the finance committee stands up and goes, we don't think this is a good idea, or we think this is a wonderful idea. And so
Right.
my anticipation is without verbal rebuttal, that may go poorly.
Well, the applicants should all be there.
I will be there for sure at the meetings, and I usually will talk about different projects and different warrant articles that we have. So it's not a big deal to stand up and restate what's on the paper already. It's not it's what we all built together.
I just think that, our job is to see whether or not they qualify or not.
Right.
Really, the applicants who are looking for the money should be there and standing up and talking about.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're not going to stand up and present for the applicant. We're just going to say that we think that this meets the criteria of the CPA. That's
I
about
had
it.
a conversation with Jen regarding her application last year, and she was a bit surprised that she was asked to stand up and talk about it. So we should probably let the applicants know that, A, it's voted on at town hall, and be prepared to come in and state your case.
Right.
To the town,
We can put, at our next Park and Rec meeting, we can come up with the pros. I don't know if we can come up with any cons other than the
No,
fact.
we
it's a lot of money.
don't really, we shouldn't be putting cons down, because then that would be weighing an opinion, because
Yeah,
the thing is, what we're going to do is we're going to just present why we think it fits CPA criteria. Not
but
really.
I'm saying the Park and Rec can put down,
Yep, they can.
at
Yeah,
our next
it'd be
meeting.
great if you could do that just on your own. It could be separate from the CPC.
Yeah.
All right. Did I?
Perfect.
Okay, good. Then we don't have to talk about, because everything I wrote was opinionated. So it's
Okay,
not up to us to give our opinion, just whether or not it qualifies.
right. I believe so, because otherwise it is our opinions, and we're, everybody
I
can
think
make.
the pro is, it'll add another feature to the park. And
Yeah.
the con is it costs a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely,
Other than that, I don't know what you can say. There
Right.
wouldn't be an opinion.
right,
We want to word it as the con is, it costs a lot of money that is available.
Yeah,
right, it's available.
It's not.
There are no other projects pending that will really have to worry about it, competing for, so.
all right.
Okay, let's look at old business, warrant articles for 2023 town meeting, project, budget, bonds, et cetera. Sabrina, do you have anything for us on that?
So I had submitted those warrant articles, that I had everyone look at the last meeting to, I think it was Carl. And he asked me to do some updates, mostly for, which one was it? Oh, the floor replacement. He wanted to make sure that I put, the Southwick Housing Authority basically in there, so we knew who was
The applicant,
the applicant and who was like receiving the money.
So this is the update we have right here.
Yeah, you have the updates. I updated that, March 10th. So this is what, minus the first one, obviously, the Southwick Congregational Church, this is what, oh, and also now the spray park. I wrote this may change, so that's gonna be 294,000. So I'm gonna update that, and then I think as far as the project warrant articles, these should be solid.
Are you, gonna just go back and ask that he just take the church off of it? Cause it's still on the list.
Oh, I'm gonna take it off of it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is still like an active list. He kicked it back and said, fix this and that. So I said, okay. So I fixed it and, yep. And then I can update the Wally Spray Park. And this should be, I mean, you guys, I don't know if we have to vote on it again, but that should be ready to send, back to Carl, who'll send it to council. And then as far as budget, so I asked Laura if she could fill in, so basically I just rewrote the warrant article for our budget that we had in the past. And I asked Laura to basically fill in the blanks, and she kicked back saying that it's the CPC's job to do it. So then I rewatched CPC boot camp, or the CPA boot camp that's on the coalition website.
right,
And they said you need the estimate of what your surcharge is gonna bring in, the estimate of what the state's gonna give you, and then just divide it up that way. So I tried to get an estimate for state, and they said that they can't give us anything until April. That's past our deadline. And they also did tell us, or somebody told us, I think it was the Division of Local Services. What is it? The
Department of
DO,
Revenue,
Division of Revenue.
Department of
Department
Revenue.
of Revenue said that collections have fallen 34% since November 1st. So as far as state, I just guesstimated from what we had gotten last year, and I reduced that by 34%. As far as what our tax surplus is, I just used last year's number, because I looked at the track record and it hasn't gone down, it hasn't reduced, it just keeps getting more, we just keep getting more and more money every year. So
So
We
the
got-
390 is what you're estimating we're getting from the town?
what we're getting from the town, yeah, I know Chris and John, you don't have this, I just wrote down an annual budget breakdown, it's in paper form. Actually, no, I can share it, I have it on my disk, or drive,
On
whatever
your
you wanna
floppy
call it.
disk?
Floppy
That's
disk.
not-
Warrant article,
Is it the 8-inch
budget warrant
one?
article, draft, okay.
Yeah.
And then I have to screen share. I think I'm just gonna share the screen, right?
Yeah.
For that, and then whatever comes up.
There it is, coming.
Goodness, this is a big document.
Or the internet is slow.
Microsoft Office. Oh, hold on, that's the draft breakdown.
Much faster.
Yeah. Okay, can you guys see what we see?
Yes,
Okay, so, yeah, what we received last year was $390,930. Last year's state distribution was $277,145. That doesn't include that surplus that we got at the end. And then here I'm mentioning that the state warned that collections have fallen 34% since November 1st. You guys can double check the math, if you want. So that's where I multiplied 277 by 0.34 to get 94,229.30. So that's the 34% minusing from what we had gotten last year from the state. So I'm guesstimating that we're gonna get $182,915. Rounding that up with the cents, it would be $916. So that's the estimated state match down here. Estimated local surcharge up here. So the total estimated funding from this is gonna be $573,846. So we need to allocate 10% for open space and recreation, 10% for historic, and 10% for housing. So I just multiplied, the $573,846 by 10% to get $57,384 with 60 cents, but then I rounded that up to 385. So those three allocations would be that. And to get the general, hold on, let me just think of what I did.
You're on target.
Yeah, okay, so here's where the 5%, I'm confused for well, first of all, do we want to have 5% for administration? I think that's
Yes.
something you need to vote on. Do you want 5%? Do you want to lower that? It can be up to 5% or lower.
Do you wanna get paid?
I do want to get paid. Do you guys want to keep me for another year?
Don't the signs and the other stuff.
Yeah, that, and then I got, where's the pen?
I mean, 5% is our max, and I think you should keep it there. I mean, I don't see any sense in reducing that.
If you don't use it, it goes back. until-
Yeah, if you don't use it, it goes back. So does that need to be like an official vote?
Well, why don't we make a motion? I'll make a motion to keep it at 5%.
Second.
Okay, all in favor around the table from Dave Williams?
Aye.
Jeannie Reed, aye.
Beth Thomas, I.
Barry Walker, aye.
Dave Spina, aye.
John.
John?
Yeah.
John Wally, aye.
Okay,
Okay, so here's where, I got a little confused. According to the regulations, we can have the 5% come from the total amount of money that we get. So the total estimated funding, we can allocate 5% of that for administration.
correct. But Sabrina, we don't need to actually give the figures at the town meeting. All we need to do is give the percentages. So whatever,
Okay,
whatever it becomes is the percent of whatever it is.
Okay,
And- That's how we've been doing it every meeting, every town meeting.
with the examples that I've seen, they have given numbers, like,
I was,
money numbers.
I mean, you
Last
did
year-
some nice work there, and it's sound math. So, I mean, it should work out fairly reasonably, but as long as we make sure that we are conveying to the public that these are estimates.
Okay,
And it's really the percentages is what we're approving. Because that's what the law gives us to work with. It has to be 10% for each of the three.
Right.
Okay, and it can be up to 5% of the administrative. The rest
So
of the general and reserved.
after this, I do have the warrant article drafted, and then we can basically get to the nitty gritty on that. But I have
But
another
the other thing, hold
question.
on just one moment.
Yeah.
That you have general unreserved fund 70%, it will only be 65%. Because
So
you're taking
here's
the
where
other
my,
five.
yeah, here's where my question comes in. The example that I took, and I hadn't really looked at other years, but the example I took, I think was for 2020. They had said general unreserved fund 70%, and then they took 5% of that for the administrative fund. So that was my question. In the regs, though, it says you can take 5% from your total.
Right,
guess your
I
total
believe that's the way we are doing it. 5% of the.
Well, that's the
total.
way we're supposed to do it.
Right,
Right?
Supposed to be 5% of the
The whole
total
pot.
funding.
Right?
Yeah, it's $8,000.
So it'll be significantly, it'll be a lot higher than what you have here.
Yeah, so I have, the two examples, the 5% from the annual CPA revenues, the total. So that would mean that the general unreserved would be 65%, so those are these two, so sorry. The administrative fund would be at $28,692.25, rounding that down to $28,692. The general unreserved fund at 65% would be $372,999.
Yeah, that's all right. That's
that's
correct.
correct. Yep.
Okay,
So do you
so.
make the administrative fund a separate line item?
They
Well,
all
the
kind of go together.
The administrative fund, from the examples I've seen, they were always a separate warrant article. I
The
don't know why.
administrative funds?
Yeah,
Mm.
it was
Remember
two,
doing that?
two
Yeah.
separate
Let's-
articles.
I don't think we should break from what we normally do. I mean, other towns might do it differently, but I think it's been going pretty smoothly. Just
I-
keeping it all in the same.
I'm not taking it from other towns, I'm taking it from our town.
We have had that before in the warrant article?
Yeah, where's my,
So that's gonna mess up your numbers if you don't make a separate line item.
yeah, I got 2020, Article 13 was the budget, and then Article 14 was the administrative funds. And I think I've seen it in other years as well.
Well, Jeannie said she did it like that last year.
Trying to do it that way last
Yeah.
year.
So,
Okay,
okay,
you-
so now
you
that we
took the admin fund
know.
right off the top, before you start divvying out the 10%, 10%, 10%.
It didn't come out of the, yeah,
Go
it
ahead.
didn't come out of the total like you have.
Yeah, it came out of the general, or the reserved, unreserved, or whatever.
Let's do it out of the total.
Okay,
Total.
so I can bring up this one. Hold on, I can't really see because of that annual budget warrant article draft. So this is where I started, so this is basically a copy paste, except changing the fiscal year. It is fiscal year 2024, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. It just messes me up all the time. So I kind of just copy pasted, this is from 2020. And they had given like actual dollar amounts
Huh.
to the reserve. I could do dollar amounts, I can do percent, I mean, well, you guys can do, you tell me what to do.
Well,
I am much more comfortable with percentages because,
We don't know the real dollar amount.
right, we don't know the number. You have to have an actual number to give an actual number, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, so to reserve 10%.
So if the state is gonna tell us what the amounts are in April, will we have them by May?
yeah. We should let them know. Because it,
Hey, Chris,
Yeah,
when I did it last year, I tried to do percentages and I was told I had to have figures.
really,
Yeah.
because
Not saying
yeah, I'm pretty sure every other year when I've stood up at town meeting, it was read out to the town as 10%, 10%, 10%.
So.
I've
there's
never, I've never seen the numbers in there before.
So what did you just talk about, the total estimated amount coming in, the $573,000 and then break down the percentages? Or did you not even talk about the estimated income?
That's from both. She has from both. But she looked
No,
up,
no, no, I get it,
Yeah.
but the estimated funding, according to her calculations, is $573,000. Would you put that down and then just put percentages for the different buckets?
Of which, yeah,
Or do you not even
well,
mention?
that might work well too. I mean,
Let people do the math in their head.
right?
Hmm,
so back to her original question.
I'm trying to write.
Yeah,
Do the percentages.
if she does the percentages though, there has to be a different line item for administrative fees. Or
Well, it would still
because it would be
be,
10, 10, 10, 65, 5.
Well, she's gonna do that as well. Because that's what they did last year, I guess. Administrative funds came as a different warrant.
yeah, it was a different, article.
Do you have a copy of the ones from last year?
I have a copy of the ones from 2020, and it doesn't look pretty because I just copy pasted. This is,
The only other way would be if you just took 5% of the general unreserved, and then you can combine them together.
Because I'm just thinking, if Jeannie was made to change things last year, from an administrative standpoint in town, nothing has changed.
Right.
The same people are probably gonna make the same request again this year. So we can get our hands on what Jeannie
Last
did.
year,
It just seems
change the
like that's
numbers.
what you wanna just.
Yeah, or whatever.
I use 2020 as my,
there we go.
listen, I used 2020 because no one would help me and I
Right?
asked for help. So I went back to old town meetings and researched the town meetings and I followed them as if I was just plugging in the same things as like 2020.
Right,
Then I got something back, and that's when I was told I had to have the actual numbers. And then I put the numbers in, and they still corrected them anyway. I'm looking for my old, see if I have it.
Well, you would have sent it out, so I'm looking to see if I have it too.
I mean, basically, this should be a boilerplate. Every year should be pretty much the same, except for the FY.
I know down on the bottom, right where my cursor is, it does say like state match equal fiscal year 2023 CPA commitments minus abatements. I honestly don't really know
What are the abatements?
what that's about. I'm not sure if that's like, so this is why I added bonds on the agenda, because I don't know if we have bonds that we're committed to and we need to subtract that from like
Yeah.
what we're receiving and then put 10% allocated after we subtracted the bonds. I don't know.
I think the bonds would be charged to, if they're historical,
Yeah,
and they say for the next 10 years, we're gonna pay out of this account. Doesn't
yeah.
that make sense?
That shouldn't affect the admin fee.
It
Just thinking like in
should affect the
general.
amount available to the historical if they already have a bond out. Would you agree?
Yeah, that should be coming out of that 10%, not out of the general fund. So the
I'm not
admin,
sure how they do that. That you would have to ask Carl and Linda probably about that. Where that
Yeah.
comes out of. I'm not sure how they do it. I'm not sure there's a, that we have made a request. I think generally it comes out of the general unreserved because that 10% has to go back in every year.
Well, it says commitments minus the abatements, so I don't know what the commitments are.
So the state match is the money that the commitments are the values of the properties. Abatements would be the minus parts. So I think when people create a deed, that's that's the part that goes in. Abatements are what gets back, given back. So they're taking that back out of the commitment.
I got
It's
you.
not from our end, it's from the state's end.
Okay. So there is something in here that says that the 10% gets taken out for each CPA purpose, historical open space, community housing, as
Right.
required by law, and then here's that 65/70, I'm just gonna make that 65, because now we know. 65%.
Well, so Sabrina, that is the way it's written in the act. It's not, it's not generally the way, now you're changing it to the way we do it in town to 65%. It can be 70 to 65%. But we take out the 5% administrative, which brings us
Right.
down to 65. So if you want to add that in, that's okay, I guess.
Hey, Chris, do you have your email up?
Do you want me to put my email?
Yes.
Well, so I just found what Jeannie sent to me last April 4th for exactly what we're talking about. And it's a one-page document, and it's a lot more concise than what's up there. So if someone could display, I can't obviously display it off of my phone. But Jeannie, I think, is just trying to find out whether or not we were requested to have changes made, but that was, April 4th was after we were required to have these in by. So I don't know if there would have been any changes made to this afterwards.
I don't think we are on the cusp of stuff because
I sent it to you. Well, actually, I don't even know which one I sent it to.
I'm trying to sign into my,
Well, if Chris or John or somebody with a laptop.
Sabrina's just about it.
if I can remember my password.
Come on now.
You want me to read it out, Dave?
Well, I mean, if
Check
we
the
could-
file that says passwords.
Yeah. There.
Alright, let me just, see if I can make this.
Yeah, it gives the percentages up top and then it gives the estimates down below. That's fine.
The Word doc to the left, Sabrina.
That looks nice, Jeannie.
thanks, Chris.
Is it like, I just view it, do I have to download it?
Say,
It
where-
wasn't fun.
Where were you last year?
Yeah,
I was on
Yeah.
vacation.
yeah, you sure were.
I think I was in Key West, actually.
Alright.
I think we talked
You're
though.
in Key West every
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, I think so.
Share the
Yeah,
screen.
you were probably sick too.
Probably.
Okay, so so they do have money in there.
Right, that's what Jeannie did. The years before that, I don't remember having the estimates, which, I like having the estimates as long as it's disclosed as being an estimate.
And you,
Yep, go ahead, John.
you got a can of 65% in that article because you just say 10, 10, and 10, and the rest goes in the general fund, and in the next article, you say 5% is coming off for the administration.
Right,
Because if they don't pass the second one, it's not 65%, it's 70%. So you just say the remainder,
correct.
like this, remainder go to the general unreserved fund.
And it does say estimated right there in the second paragraph, so.
Yeah. Keep the
Yeah.
words in.
My point I tried to make before is that this is all mandated, but the 5% is optional.
Correct.
So they have to be two separate articles.
Ah, that's the reason. I always wondered.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
so it
we-
says general-
I mean, we used to only do 3%, but then we ran into problems with paying for appraisals.
So does everybody agree, you just want to keep it the same as it was last year?
I think so.
Yeah, just follow the same
So
Yeah.
it's-
exact layout, just change the
Just look at
numbers.
your numbers, Sabrina. I think everything's good.
So I have a question. Cause this is doing, it says from the general unreserved fund.
Yep.
So the general unreserved fund is minus
It's
the allocated, so that's back to,
70% of the original.
That's not the way the law reads, though. Law reads 5% of the amount collected.
right, so do you want me to change this part?
I would, yeah.
Well, what did I write in the other one? Just the annual Community Preservation Act revenues is what I wrote.
Yep.
Right.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
So that means you gotta redo your math a little bit.
No, it's the same math.
Well, you're starting at 5% lower than you were before. Because you're taking 5% off the top for your admin.
Yeah, just 5% of the revenue.
Yep.
5% of the total.
Of the
Right.
total.
Right,
Right.
we're taking 10% and 10% and 10% of the total.
Yeah, because when I changed this wording
Taking
to
5% of the total for
from
admin. Right?
the
Nope. Okay. 10% first,
annual
and then the 5%
community.
off the total,
Well,
what it's coming out of.
community preservation.
It's all the percentage to the total.
It's 5% of the
So-
total revenues coming out of
Let's
the unreserved
simplify it,
funds.
it's $100, right?
Yep.
10,
30,
10, 10, and 5.
Right.
So those would be $10, $10, $10, and $5. It's all a percentage to the total. You don't take the 10% off and then do 10% of the remaining balance, and then 10% off and 10% of the remaining balance. It's always a percentage to the total number.
So the new reserve is 65%.
Yes.
So let me just see, so the total sum would be
Your revenue at the top.
28,692 dollars for that, and then we'll just keep the zeros closed. And then we said 57,385.
See here.
Well, loading. 57,385, and then,
I think we submit it like this, and once they know what the actual revenue is, they amend it. And that's what goes to town meeting.
Right.
okay. And then the our surcharge collection.
Just put the remainder
Yeah,
goes into the,
What do you mean?
because it's what's left over.
To.
instead of putting a dollar amount for the Community Preservation Reserved Fund. Just put the remainder goes into the fund.
That's, I believe that's what's in the,
Oh, I see, because the paragraph above it says remaining balance.
right, that's what should be on the bottom as well, but remaining balance of monies will be deposited in general unreserved fund.
Because that's gonna change with the next warrant article.
Get rid of that number, and just say the remainder goes into the
Oh.
reserve fund.
Hold on. If we put the remainder into the general unreserved fund, then we would have to take the administrative out of the general unreserved fund.
Which you do.
That's right.
what-
It comes out of everything, not just that. It comes out of the total.
Right.
Hold on, I'm not understanding.
Okay, so, like
Yep,
David explained before, 10, 10, 10, that's 30% coming out, and then 5 more is 5 more percent.
right.
65, which would 65% is what goes into the general unreserved fund.
So,
That's,
but if you
that is
take-
the same thing as the remaining amount. The 65% is the remaining amount.
Well, 5% isn't mentioned up here. If you take 10, 10, and 10, that's 30%. The remainder would be 70% going to the general unreserved.
Yes, but then after the next one, that will change.
You think?
Cause
Yep.
it'll be a whole warrant article.
It's what's left over after all the warrants go through.
But nothing would be left over. Cause 70 plus 30.
Well,
equals
there would
100.
be 70% after this one goes through, and then after the next one goes through, there'll be 65%.
That's why. it's-
Assuming they both pass, which they always do.
Right.
Okay, if it makes sense to you guys, then that's cool,
You actually take the exact
Excellent.
cause I'm not
verbiage
getting
from,
it.
from your paragraph right above.
Does this help?
No, it's just a
So,
number.
so your grand total estimate,
Yep,
minus 10, 10, and 10,
yep,
minus 5
yep,
equals
To remain,
what goes into general and reserve.
right,
Correct.
but
instead of saying 65, you just say whatever's left over.
Right.
Just in case for some reason.
I think I
the reserve
know,
got changed to
I think I
4%.
understand now, I'm not sure, I don't know. Hey, let's just do it and see what happens.
Good thinking.
So
See
what
what
did you
sticks
want me to write, to reserve the
The remainder.
Remain.
Is
Is it already up there? Or,
Yep.
okay.
can you not, I'm
It's
screen
up in
sharing.
the preamble, I believe, isn't it?
Yep.
Right right there.
Remaining
See,
balance.
Remaining
Remaining balance.
Will you pause it? Okay.
End
So
of the
just-
first paragraph.
Oh, so wait, what do I put here then?
Exactly what it says up there.
Same thing.
Remaining balance is
Or-
monies.
I thought that's what I did.
Find where it is, or you can change
To reserve the remainder
remaining balance of.
balance of,
Monies will be deposited.
Well, you don't have to put that.
of the community preservation fund revenues.
To reserve the remaining balance.
Does that make sense?
I think it should be remaining as opposed to remainder, otherwise.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Remaining.
Wait,
You got an
remaining,
extra D in there.
what? Where?
Remaining. Should be remaining.
How do you spell
No
it?
D.
No D.
Would be. That's why it's extra.
Beautiful.
So I'm putting in the surcharge collection here, yeah? And that was 390.93
Yep.
or 930,
Yep.
and then the estimated
That's your
state
estimate.
match
Yep.
is the
182,916. For a total of.
It's full of a lot of money. Alright.
That hardly even covers the Christmas parties.
Yeah, and I want a really good present this year.
So can I just, from a formatting standpoint?
One
can we
extra
not
zero in those numbers.
Yeah.
3 zeros after the
I was gonna say
decimal
something.
point?
You know I didn't do that right. That didn't me. And then I need to write fiscal year 2004, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is that the only?
The only other thing is on that,
Right there.
down below.
Down below,
Yeah,
The
again.
23,000. Is that correct?
huh?
Scroll to the bottom.
Wait, what?
Scroll down.
Scroll all the way down.
Go down. Keep down. Okay.
Total sum of 28,692 recommended.
What?
Okay, so, no, yeah, so you gotta do 5% of the, what was it, 590?
Oh,
Oh, it is, yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's right. It is
yeah.
672. Yep, it is.
And 30
That's-
cents.
I
That's right.
rounded.
no, it's an estimate, so we don't need 30 cents.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
My only change there would be after 5%. It's not 5% from, it's 5% of.
correct.
Oh,
There you go.
Appropriate funds of 5% of the.
5% of the annual CPA revenues.
appropriate funds of 5% of the
Or is it appropriate 5% of the funds?
Yeah, I would get rid of it.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
We're having too much fun. Yeah,
A fund,
click there.
there's another of though.
The council will chop it up.
Let's go for
Sure.
5%.
Yeah.
We're doing no funds.
Yeah. Appropriate 5% of the annual community preservation
Yes,
act
yes.
revenue. So get rid of
Of funds.
just backspace, right where you are. Keep going.
Good.
Done.
Beautiful.
Now the bad part is edit your email, so
Make
you
sure
have
you
to say
say
that.
that.
Yes.
I know, right? I'll save as, and we're gonna save it on my floppy disk. Here's this one.
That's perfect.
Excellent. Okay,
All right,
Okay. Okay.
so,
That took a minute.
it did.
But it's done.
okay, we good with all those, Sabrina?
What's that?
Good with that part?
Yeah, do you guys have to vote on it?
No, we just agreed that we. Oh. Shall we take, I'll make a motion that we appropriate 5%, or did we already do that tonight?
Yeah, we already did the
Yeah.
5%.
Yeah, so that's all we really need to do. The rest is a law.
Okay. All right, are we doing anything with the yearly calendar? I wasn't sure where we left off.
No, let's put that on hold for now. That more maybe be better in a work session where you could just like mail out a blank calendar and we can put in things of, you know, just annual town meetings, you know, application process, which would be pretty much all year. But we would put like those things we talked about as far as may not meet required time frame for a town meeting, something like that from here on. There's not
So
really
you
a bunch we have to do except for schedule the informational meeting for the town. You know, to say what we've done throughout the year and what CPA is all about and used for, and you know, different things that different projects that we funded. But that comes usually the last meeting of the year, this fiscal year in June.
Yeah, that would be June 21st.
Ooh, next to my birthday.
Oh,
We budgeted for that, Chris.
Excellent.
You didn't say all.
I'll be in Maine, but that's okay.
so do you want me to just scratch that off and then we'll,
Yeah, why don't we scratch that off for tonight, put continued.
oh, continue it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. Okay, review application forms. Do we have anything new that we're gonna be looking at tonight, or are we all pretty much the same as we were before?
So I just did some, I guess, final edits, and I have, I'm not sure, did I send you guys? I think I did. I sent everyone the final edits to
I think so.
review.
One little piece in red, that's all I remember.
One little piece in red. I think that was for the, non-collusion.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're still trying to figure that out, if we want it. Did we want to review that today? All this, or do you,
Everything else was the same,
yeah,
and we don't have an answer to this.
So I think
Yeah.
we're just gonna continue that as well.
fun. Okay,
Yep, easy. That makes the time go faster.
yep.
Okay, we didn't really have any updates to the plan, as far as I know.
Jean, did you have anything?
For
The plan.
The open
update
space
For the
plan?
open space and recreation one.
No, what I did was I asked Cindy and Kara to review it, and they didn't get back to me, so I will put it on for our next meeting and ask them to confirm if everything that I sent them was good,
Okay,
which was what you had done up, so I will just double check with them. I just said, can you guys review this? What do you think? Excuse me. Do you need any additions or anything like that, or want to put anything in? So I'll just make sure I'll follow
Okay.
up our next meeting.
Well, we'll carry that one over as well. Mail, we have any mail that's pertinent to meeting tonight?
I mean, not necessarily pertinent, but we did get some mail, from the Southwick Lions Club. It's called Antique Appraisals. So it says, clean out your attic, bring in your knickknacks, learn the value of your personal treasures. $4 per item, or 3 items for $10. And this is going to be held Sunday, April 23rd, 2023, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Southwick Senior Center.
What times?
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
And I believe that's all the mail.
Okay, we can look at our minutes from February 15th.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Aye.
Did you guys read it?
Yeah, we read it before. That's why you send them out early, right?
Supposed to read them before.
Yeah.
You really want us to read them that?
Hey, there's a motion and a second on the floor.
Dave Spina, aye.
Brian Walker, aye.
Beth Thomas, aye.
Jeannie Reed, aye.
Dick McWilliams, aye.
Who seconded it, did it?
Chris Pratt.
Pratt.
John Wally, aye.
Okay.
Okay.
So just as a little funny note, I did write in here, and I almost left it just to see if you guys were reading it, that Dave left the table rudely to go speak to someone else while Chris was talking. But I took it out the last minute.
Why? You should have left it in.
I'd have been fine with that. That would have been.
I was a little cheeky when I was writing it up.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, I'll take a motion to say goodnight if anyone wants to make that.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second,
Fourth.
second.
and all the way around the table.
Dave Spina, aye.
Brian Walker, aye.
Beth
Ms.
Thomas,
Barrett, aye.
aye.
Jeannie Reed, aye.
Dave McWilliams, aye.
John Wally, aye.
Okay,
Who did the second? Was it you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Everyone.
It was very close. It was a-
unanimous. Okay. Thank you very much for coming in, everybody. Have a great week, month, whatever. See you next.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Nobody's interviewed.